Good morning. It's a walk morning. It's beautiful, 60-something degrees. And I love taking a walk out on the property, just up and down, really, the driveway. Nothing horribly exciting, just to be in the middle of it, right? And I was just thinking that this is the 2-year anniversary for a few things. Well, a couple big things. 2 years ago this weekend, I found a lump on my partner's breast, on her right breast. At the time, it wasn't very big. It was maybe the size of my thumb. At that same weekend, our car broke down, and the first hurricane came through the property. There was a lot that weekend. The finding of her lump, spending several hours in our tiny little shoved storage container with, at that time, all 6 of our cats in their carriers screaming their little heads off, riding out the storm. Because we couldn't leave. We couldn't get anywhere else safer because our car had died. We revisited the lump a few days later just to see how big it had gotten, or if it's went away, and, hopefully, right? It hadn't gone away. She had just lost her job as well that July. So she wasn't working, really. She didn't have any insurance. We didn't have a car. And now we had a property that was damaged by the storm. And no way to fix any of that because of the no car, no job, no insurance situation. It wasn't until we just kind of kept monitoring it and watching it grow. And we became a statistic. She became a statistic. She got called back to work at her old job in October. So really only a month had really gone by. End of October. Her insurance didn't kick back in until January. By February, we got a new car. Or new to us. We couldn't get her into a doctor until March. April was her 39th birthday. And on the day of her birthday, she had the scans that confirmed her stage 4 metastatic cancer diagnosis. And in the 2 years since, More hurricanes. More property damage. Trees just toppled over onto their side. Kind of everywhere around here. But she's been in treatment for over a year. You know, there's kind of a blessing in many ways. A stage 4 diagnosis. In breast cancer anyway, I feel. Maybe. I don't know about the other ones, you know. But for her treatment's been very easy on her body. They went with a very less invasive approach. She thus far has had no surgeries, and she might not. They are not removing any tumors, because we also found then not only there's the big one on the right, there was a small one in the left, and it's in multiple bones and tissue and lymph system. But that does mean the treatment was very kind on her body. She hasn't received any kind of traditional intensive chemo. She's only really had one treatment of radiation in her hip bone. But yeah, we're 2 years into this journey. I mean, not only the hurricanes happened, we got married. She's met people who have had this diagnosis for years, well past the 5-year date that is really kind of the length of a study for the most part. It's really, you know, how far out they're comfortable saying. But we've met a lot of people who are 7, 10, 15, 20, 25 years. There's a lot of hope in that. So today I'm going to work in the garden and try and clean up a lot of this debris and use the debris in our garden beds and get ourselves a proper vegetable garden growing.